if I cast my mind back to around April this year, I randomly went into a Walmart one day, bought a red, I suppose what you could call this as a notebook, for no other reason that's what it says on it. Bought a load of stationery, might as well show you it since you've seen it so many times. I bought this book, wrote on the front of it, Scouting Book from the Anvil's Guide to Transfer Targets. I also, autographed it so that if it sells in the near future on Antiques Roadshow, you're going to get a fair bob for it. And also wrote about a load of players that I would recommend at West Ham. Now, I have to say, most people thought that this was a new thing to do, but I think it's a very unique thing to do on my channel. I would say, yes, it is new and I agree with them, but it also makes my channel different to other people's. My scouting reports. This was for the summer of 2022. I started looking at players in April and intensified things in around March and June time. Thanks to the suggestion of a family friend, he encouraged me to do an update on where are they now. And I was interested to find out where they were. Some I knew about, some I did not. Some of them went on to bigger and better things and even had their transfer value increased fourfold. Others have stayed at their clubs, others have moved and it's not been for the better. So, where are they now? Let's start with the first player I ever wrote about in this book, Besir Omeragic, a 20-year-old Swiss-Bosnian centre-back who played for Club Zurich in Switzerland. This is a young man who idolised Sergio Ramos and Thiago Silva when he was growing up, and previously been scouted by AC Milan. He's still at FC Zurich, and West Ham was coincidentally linked with him in June 2022. However, no move materialised. The next player is Dale Fry, an English centre-back who plays in the Championship for Middlesbrough. This is his boyhood club. He's still at Middlesbrough today. There's nothing really to report on him, unfortunately. But the next player has got some news because he transferred away from his club. That player is Charles de Ketelaere, a 21-year-old Belgian international who played as an attacking midfielder and forward for Club Brugge. He signed for AC Milan. While he was at Club Bruges, I suppose Brugge is probably the Dutch way of pronouncing it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Belgian people. He won 2 league titles and 1 Belgian Super Cup, and he was named Belgian Promising Talent of the Year in 2020. Since he's moved to AC Milan, he's struggled to settle into Serie A. He's not found his feet there. It's too fast-paced for him, I think, and in my opinion, he moved to this club at the wrong time in his career. It's very exciting when you get that kind of offer in at such a young age. I don't know if he thought it through very well. I understand it was a move that was probably necessary for his development in the long run, but right now it's not looking like it's paying off because he's struggled to settle into a new league. It seems like it's too much for him to take at the moment. Up next is Turkish forward Enes Ünal, a former Manchester City Academy player. I said that this guy scored acrobatic and fluke goals. Acrobatic and fluke goals. Sorry, a bit of a tongue twister. He seems happy playing for his club, Getafe, and has not moved from the club since. Matteo Pessina is a name that England fans may remember from Euro 2020 because he played for Italy and scored in the penalty shootout in the Euro 2020 final. He scored in games against Wales and Austria in that same competition. He idolised Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard and adds their qualities to his own game. He averaged an 86% dribble succession rate in the 2020-21 season in Serie A. He's currently on loan at Monza from Atalanta. His parent club has not changed and he's the captain of Monza right now. I started to look at the Ukrainian and Russian leagues following the outbreak of the war in Ukraine. A lot of Brazilian players wanted to leave this country, and some of them played for Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar Donetsk has a history of producing top quality Brazilians. Look at Fernandinho, Fred, and Ilano as examples. The first Brazilian I looked at when I was doing this was Marcos Antonio, a holding/defensive midfielder who was playing for Shakhtar Donetsk at the time. That same summer, he transferred to Lazio, and he's often used as a substitute. He doesn't really start games. The next player is someone I would definitely still take at West Ham, Tete, also playing for Shakhtar Donetsk. He featured in West Ham's games against Lyon in the Europa League last year. He even assisted the equalising goal in the first leg. When the war in Ukraine broke out, he fled to Romania with his teammates. He's very difficult to track and is extremely skillful. I think he would be a solid winger and a massive upgrade on Bowen and Cornet. I'll even go that far to say it. He's currently on a 2-year loan deal at Lyon and hasn't really committed to signing permanently for the French club yet. West Ham could hijack this. My next two players are Mikel Oyarzabal and Attila Szalai. Mikel Oyarzabal is a Spanish forward who plays for Real Sociedad. He hasn't moved from the club. Attila Szalai, a centre-back I'd love at West Ham, a left-footer who is known as Hungary's Virgil van Dijk, a physical, powerful defender with strong tackling ability. He's still at Fenerbahce right now. Nothing has changed. Those two were mentioned together because nothing's changed with them. I'm sorry I haven't got anything to report. Midfield target I actually do like is Eric Gutierrez, who is up next. He's now 27 years old. He's a midfielder who plays for PSV. He's a well-rounded player who can execute different tasks with ease. I wrote that he demonstrated versatility and adaptability. He could make long-distance strikes and shots from outside the area. Mature leader who read the game well, made key passes and was sensible with carrying the ball. Seemed like a very well-rounded midfielder. I'm impressed with him when he played in the 2022 World Cup. He's still at PSV to this day. Unai Vencedor was next. According to reports in Spain, he's got a €40 million release clause, with teams such as Man City trying to sniff down Bilbao's necks for this guy. A straight attacker and a player who likes to initiate attacks. He's contracted till 2027 and is in no rush to leave Spain. He's staying put. Martin Terrier, Naya Fagued's best friend at Rennes, a French winger who was deployed as a second striker and had a very unique and successful pressing technique and using his speed and acceleration to press opponents from behind. It caught players out a lot and off guard. He's still at Rennes. Again, nothing's changed. Sofiane Diop was staying in France. He is French/Senegalese/Moroccan. He's yet to declare his national allegiance. He was playing for Monaco at the time. He's now playing for Nice. This is one that I would have had at West Ham because he would have been so flipping cheap to get and he would have been massive value. One main rule of James's scouting report, the players I get are low ball mainly because the low risk but the high reward. Look at Brighton. Look what Moyes wanted to do when he first came back and signed Thomas Souček and Jarrod Bowen. Didn't cost a bomb, those two, but they were high reward. Kim Min-jae. One of the 5 Kims who played in the defence and goalkeeping position for South Korea at the World Cup. 25-year-old who was playing for Fenerbahce. He played at university level and then moved to China. Was on the radar of Juventus and Tottenham Hotspur, but chose to go to Fenerbahce. He was nicknamed Monster due to his constant bombardment of opponents. He just didn't leave people alone. Absolute animal of a defender. I would have had Kim Min-jae at West Ham. But what happened since? Napoli snapped him up, and he's now worth around £40 million. And Manchester United wants him. So, as far as things are concerned, we missed out. West Ham missed out. A lot of clubs missed out too. That's not just an insult to West Ham. Up next is another bullet dodged, and that is Xaver Schlager. I think that's how you say it. An Austrian midfielder who was playing for Wolfsburg. He now plays for RB Leipzig. He had a bit of a bad injury record, so I was a bit put off by him soon after I started doing these reports. We need a new fullback at West Ham, we need a new left-back. I think one of the best left-backs at the tournament recently in Qatar was Borna Sosa, who's still at Stuttgart right now. Long-term left-back, he was sought us out for a long time at West Ham. I still want him at the club. Still really good for Stuttgart, still playing well in the Bundesliga and doing very well for Croatia too. Up next is a guy I scouted from Russia. Claudinho, a 25-year-old Brazilian attacking midfielder who was playing for Zenit St. Petersburg. He was an instant hit in Russia. He scored 7 goals in his opening 12 games. He was Brazilian top flight's top goal scorer in 2020. He scored 18 times in 35 games. And he won a league title with Corinthians in 2015 and may loosely know Fabian Balbuena, the former West Ham defender and Paraguayan international. Claudinho signed a new contract in 2022, so he's not going anywhere. Probably for the best, I think. If he's settled there, then that's fair enough. And we're staying in Russia, people. Sebastian Szymanski, Polish midfielder who was playing for Dynamo Moscow. He's now on loan at Feyenoord in the Eredivisie. Marcelo Allende. Although I didn't write much about this guy, I thought that he was going to be like the next biggest thing, next biggest diamond in the dirt. He was dubbed the next Alexis Sanchez by many Chileans because of how he could dictate the gameplay. He had a trial at Arsenal when he was 17 years old. Marcelo Allende now plays in South Africa. Quite the contrast to playing in South America. Nicolas Melamed, a Spanish midfielder who played for Espanyol. He could vaguely be compared to Santi Cazorla. Both have a low centre of gravity and can't be taken advantage of too much. Nicolas Melamed is still at Espanyol right now. Next player now plays in the Premier League. And there's a reason why you might forget that is because he's injured. Sasha Kalajdzic, the tall, powerful Austrian striker who played for Stuttgart. He now plays for Wolves in the Premier League. On his debut, he tore his ACL. And he's probably going to be out for the rest of the season. Just Wolves' luck. Martin Vitic. I was challenged by Peach, may he rest in peace, to include a Czech player in scouting report. Martin Vitic was centre-back / left-back who was playing for Sparta Prague, Daniel Kretinsky's team that he co-owns. Vitic is still at Sparta Prague to this day. Joel Pirot, a very low-risk option as well. A forward who plays for Swansea City in the Championship. Scored 22 goals in his debut season in Wales. He's still at Swansea right now. Owen Wijndal, one of the best left-backs in the Netherlands and an absolutely fantastic player who was heavily linked with a lot of clubs over the summer. He was playing for AZ Alkmaar and he's now playing at Ajax. Luis Sinisterra was playing for Feyenoord, another club in the Eredivisie, a Colombian international winger who now plays for Leeds United. Sinisterra would have been a massive upgrade for West Ham as well. Sinisterra's doing pretty well at Leeds, it has to be said. Hugo Guillamon, a centre-back / defensive midfielder who's playing for Valencia. He's now doing a degree in biomedical engineering while playing full-time football. And I believe he's captaining Valencia already. A player who's going to have a lot of money put on his head. But I think he'd be another good addition for West Ham because he can play anywhere in defence, on and off the ball, and be comfortable in the midfield. Tomasz Kedziora is next. A Polish defender who was playing for Lech Poznan on loan from Dynamo Kiev. He's returned to Dynamo Kiev and now plays for them in Ukraine. Orkun Kökçü. I wanted this guy so badly. And still do want this guy so badly to an extent. And there's a reason why there's to an extent. Dutch / Turkish. A very technically gifted and accurate passer of the ball. very, very skilled and composed player. Kirksu made anti-LGBTQ plus comments and also said that he wouldn't wear a rainbow armband. It caused a bit of a stir on social media and in the Netherlands. Tyler Adams, you might know this guy because not only does he play for Leeds United, but he also played for the United States in the game against England. And man, what a performance he had. He was an obstructive player who showed little fear in using his body to encroach players. I'm referring to my notes. Combative mindset, absolutely he did. And he had several box-to-box traits, energy, dribbling and control. He made consistent dribbles. Tyler Adams, with the United States connection with Jesse Marsch, was going to Leeds United and was a standout player in the 2022 World Cup. The final player from the summer was Viktor Saikankov, a 24-year-old right winger who played for Dynamo Kiev. He's still at Dynamo Kiev, and he becomes a free agent next year. So that was an update on all of those players. And I have got more targets to come for the winter. So hopefully you stay tuned for those, because I got loads to get through. In fact, I already made the templates for them. I mean, look, I've already got the templates for them. Do you lot think I don't have a life outside of YouTube? Well, I actually do, you know. I do leave my house, even though it's -40 outside. I do leave my house. I don't have a padlock on my bedroom door so that my mum can't barge in. Do you know what I'm saying? I haven't built my own PC and, you know, look at bad things on the internet. I'm not like that. I don't sell samurai swords at car parks and stuff like that. It's not my personality. What's it called? Car boot sales. Not in car parks, but they're in car boot sales. You get what I'm saying? I don't sell samurai swords. I don't own one of those Dragon Skull t-shirts. I'm not, and I don't work at Dungeons and Dragons shop. I'm not one of them. I do have a life outside of YouTube. But I just like looking at players. Man, I just got this obsession with it, and I don't know why. But it makes my channel unique in a way, and I'm going to keep on doing it. So anyone who tells me to stop, you have to book a one-way flight to Canada and come and see me about it, okay? And just talk to me about it and all that. Yeah, you know, just do that. I'm just going to keep on scouting. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all soon.